Hi, Sean. How are you today?
Hey, Mandy, how you doing?
Doing good. All righty. So as we're diving in, did you want to do our four octave scale minor key? We've switched to flats now. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Are we doing hands separately still for that?
I mean, for the most part, yes.
Okay, great. All right. So,
All right.
alrighty. So, E flat minor.
Yep.
We've got E flat, F, G flat, A flat, B flat, C flat, and D flat. Remember that the C flat is also the B. So,
Yes. All right.
and then do you remember you're clear on fingerings and good with all that?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. So let's go ahead and try each hand for that.
Okay. Mm, yep. Yep. So, a few mix-ups there,
That's okay.
but not
It's a
terrible.
brand new scale, so
Yeah.
no problem at all. Let's go ahead and try the other hand. The important thing is that you recognize when we have a fumble and you can self-correct that. So as
Yes.
long as we're doing that, we're in good shape, in a good place.
Not really sure how, I mean, I could probably do hands together on that. I don't know.
Do you want to try? Let's
I
go
would
for it.
give it a shot.
Yeah, if you feel like that's going to be helpful for you, let's try it.
Only one mess up. That's not too bad.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That's awesome. I love that. Great. Okay. Awesome. So then this week, be practicing that hands separately and then hands together as well until you
Okay.
feel really solid, and then you can just do hands together for the rest of the time. Okay, let's also try our arpeggios. Do you want to try this hands separately and then together?
Yeah, let's try separately first.
Okay, let's try the full four octaves and see how we do. I know we did two
Okay.
octaves last lesson.
One too far. One too far. All right. Nope. Right now, the fun part. Oh, finger tangled, but not terrible.
Alrighty, so good. So we're conquering this new key. That's great. Now let's go ahead and try going through each of the chords in this key. Last week was a little bit tricky. So let's go ahead and try going through. So remember, there's only one note that's not flat. Which is that?
Uh, Technically F.
Okay, good. So we've got F is not flat, right? So everything else is flat, including the C, right? So
Yes.
let's try going through those triads.
Okay, so we got the nope, 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 nope. Yeah, no, maybe. No. That one feels weird. Nope. Why does that sound off? There it is. So I think the only one that I like, yeah, that F is because it's got the A flat.
Yeah.
Ooh, oop, nope. There it is. It's hitting E natural instead of F.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Got it. Good.
So not terrible, but still dodgy
Yeah.
on the chords.
Can still use a little practice. That's all
Yeah.
right. That they're unusual and confusing a little bit. All right, so now we're doing natural minor. So I would love for us to go through now instead and do one of our other types. So why don't we do harmonic
Right.
minor also for this week?
Okay. So that's where we're raising the seventh.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, correct. Both on the way up and the way down.
Yes. That feels it sounds right, but it feels weird. Like I have to really think about it because I'm like,
Yeah,
Skippy, Skippy, here.
right.
So yeah, it's a little strange, but
So we're gonna do each hand separately and then hands together on that.
okay. Hmm. Excuse me. All right. Oop. Nope. There, there, there. So in my left hand's a little tricky because I'm ending on that two,
Yeah,
and I'm wanting to use my thumb on the D natural.
right.
And it's like, no, I have to two, three, one, two, three, four, one, two. So that might take a little bit of practice this week.
Yeah.
Going up doesn't. Well, yeah, on the right hand, it's not an issue
Okay, good.
because start on three, end on three. You know, three, one, two, three, four, one, two, or yeah, two, three, and then it can be three, two, one, four, three, two, one, three.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just gonna be because with the left hand we start and end on two.
Hmm.
So remembering to do two, one, or two, three, one. Trying to keep the thumb on the B and the F. Okay. So yeah, that's probably gonna need some drilling this week. Sorry, my
Yeah.
skin. It's really I really need to get like an actual like humidifier.
Oh, yeah.
Skin is
Well,
so dry.
in the meantime, you could try just take like a bowl of water and put it like on a shelf or a tabletop in each room, and it'll actually just evaporate into the air. It's not going to be as powerful as the humidifier.
It's just something my legs are so dry.
Oh, I hate that.
It's like I spent half my day like right at the knees too, like an
Yeah.
inch
Oh,
above
that's
and below my
uncomfortable.
knees. I'm like
Yeah.
just
You can
itchy.
also, when you're showering in the morning, instead of running your fan in your bathroom, just like leave the door
Oh yeah,
open and let it
I
go. You can
totally
also
do
just like
that.
boil water on the stove and just let that evaporate into the air.
Hmm. I might end up having to do something like that because it's bad in here.
Aw. Yeah, I hate it too.
And if because it's a rental, I'm like, eh. But like in my new place, I'm like, how much would it be to put a humidifier in?
Oh, yeah. Good thought.
I work with some of the work I do. We install humidifiers on our stuff, and I'm like, I don't, I, I
Oh,
don't, I don't know if any of those would fly just because they're big.
right. You maybe need a smaller one.
It's like I think the smallest one that we use is like it's a box and it can be wall mounted, but it's like it's about like my camera's it's about that wide. It
Yeah.
it's a good 24 inches wide, and I'm like, I don't, I don't think that's gonna work. Then I need to actually like
Right.
hook it up to water and stuff, and
Hmm. Gotta have room
no,
for it.
yeah, where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
All right,
Alrighty, so
okay,
let's go ahead and switch over to our Hanon exercise number 5 now.
okay. Okay, I think for the most part, I've I think I've got this one. So
Great.
we, I think after today, I think we might be good to move on to
Move on to
six.
6. All right, so
But
let's go through 5 and then maybe we'll start 6 today.
okay, it's yeah. I don't know why my fingers go so dumb sometimes. Yeah. Ah. Still just some finger coordination struggles, but
Yeah.
like the funny thing is like I don't know what it. I literally just drilled this like a couple hours ago and did it. No issues, none
Then you get
whatsoever.
in front of me.
I don't know what it is. Like every once in a while, it's like it's gotten considerably better. Like it used to be like every third day I was having issues. Now it's like once a week.
Well, I would love to try having you go through it with the metronome. So I'd love for us
Okay.
to figure out what speed you want to take it at, and then try to keep it really consistent and steady with that.
There we go. Um, nope, not enough. Um, 80.
Okay, great. Let's do it.
You sit over here. Nope, that already squirreling up here. Ah. It's like an extra fun bit of like, let's focus on something else. And it's like, ugh. Yep. This will be fun to practice with. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, that one's mm, I mean, that's definitely the a good pace. I don't know if it's, I don't know, maybe that's the volume. Let's try from the top here.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and try at 80. If you get a little bit faster, a little slower, just try to stick with it. And we're gonna see what happens if we try it with that. And if we need to, we can try hands separately first.
Okay. Yeah. It is. It really is just this extra little bit of like just to make it spicy. Almost had it at the end. Almost had it.
Hey, that's all right. You're getting there.
Definitely was a little bummed because I like even transitioned into the incline like perfectly, and I'm like, and then it just finger trip, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I actually thought I was gonna make it. I'm like, ah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, you did so good though. All right, that's all right. So we're gonna keep working on this, but with a metronome every time you practice it this week.
okay,
Okay? So we're gonna add that extra challenge. Um, and there are actually other ways we can practice these to make them even more challenging, but this week I'm just gonna give you the metronome. So
fair
since you
enough.
do feel ready to tackle number 6, let's go ahead and let's try it hands separately.
Okay, excuse me.
You're good.
All right, all right. So it's yeah, all right. Yep. Yeah. So uh, yeah, there. All right. This is the weird one. So the decline, it's a good lord. It's good lord, that's a lot of lecture lines.
I find that memorizing the pattern can be really helpful with
Yeah.
these.
So and then it's so ugh. So one I feel like the declines always kick my butt for some reason, and I don't quite understand why. So yeah, Yeah, the decline on that one's a little squirrely because it feels the way it's written and the way it's played feel disconjoined kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because like even starting at the beginning of the decline, it's got me at on my one finger at G and then back to B, C, B, D, B, E, B, F, and then F. So it just feels a little discombobulated. Kind of, I mean, it's
Hmm.
not unlike the other exercise that we're doing, like especially on the incline for this, patterns are almost identical.
Yeah.
So that's why like I had zero issue with the incline, but the decline is a little it's vastly different in between the two.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one I think the decline is going to need more of the practice.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
even
So focusing on that decline more. So I would recommend playing the decline first 3 times and then
okay.
go through the whole thing with, going up and then down. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. All right. So then, so you're going to work on number 6 this week. And
Hmm.
then let's go ahead and take a look at your Bach piece in your book.
Right. Nope, I already got one paper cut this week. I don't need another one.
Oh no.
It wasn't from the books. It was from the freaking soda box.
Oh,
I reached in to get one. I got myself like right on the top of my thumb,
I
just
hate that.
just at the knuckle, and I'm like, ah, that kind of.
Ow.
I was like, ah, that kind of stung. Stupid
I got
box,
a
and
little
then
cut on my middle finger right here. So like when I play, of course I feel it
oh,
from cutting a bagel.
mine's just was like, ow, that kind of stung. Stupid box, and then I'm sitting there later like, my thumb kind of stings. Son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
Like, god dang it. All right, so I'm feeling kind of bleh on this one, not gonna lie.
Hmm.
Um, because like the first part, hands separate, I'm totally fine.
Hmm.
Totally fine. Hands together is still an epic challenge.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's just more of what it's supposed to be played at versus what I'm playing at
Yeah.
tempo.
Hmm.
Um, particularly like the second measure style where they've got the octave G's. I'm like, words are not my friend today.
Yeah.
Um, but like I can go through it kind of slow. It's just certain parts aren't that I don't feel them jiving at all
Hmm.
when it comes to the count.
Right.
And it's kind
Okay.
of weird.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and try it and see what's going on.
All right. And that part is what kind of kills me.
Yeah.
This part trips me up a little too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Okay, take that it. Nah. See that's the part where I'm tripping up because it almost feels like it should be one, two, but I'm not playing fast enough in the left hand.
Yeah.
And I don't know why
Yeah. So let's
it's
work on just the left hand right there. If that's dragging, let's speed that up. Yeah. So let's get just
okay.
that left hand caught up to where the right hand is. It's lagging behind because it's not at the same level.
Hmm. So I mean I know the pattern. It's not terrible. It's G B D G D B.
Hmm.
Basically just a G chord arpeggiated.
Hmm.
Um, it's just again like the timing for it, like so. Let's just take first two measures because they're not overly different throughout the rest of the piece.
Yeah.
So it's one, two, three, one and two and three and. But they've got a tempo of like a numerical tempo of 69.
Hmm.
So, too far. One and two and three. Oh, pause. Nope. Beat. Three. I'm still like I've had this thing for over 2 years and I still don't know how to use all the functions. Two, three, two, three. Yeah. Spread the thumb. Spread the thumb. That okay, so I think I know part of the issue. I think I'm understanding where I'm kind of lagging on this. I'm lagging on the count in general, one. Um, and in the actual notes, I find myself almost kind of lingering at the top too much. So where it should be one and two and three and I find myself going one and two and three and
Hmm.
so I think that's going to be a drilling point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, so I love how you're identifying like this spot here, this spot here, this spot here. So what I recommend is like take a pencil and like mark that somehow. Put like a little star next to it or circle that spot, like something to mark every single one of these. And then during the week when you practice this piece, take just those spots and drill them like 10 times each and make sure you're doing it correctly. So make sure that it's not like 10 times each and half of them we flubbed up, but it's like 10 times each correctly and take it slow and make sure that every detail is correct.
Okay. Ooh, excuse me. The I think the hands together trick on this one
Yeah.
um is more in the again, not necessarily the notes, but in the I really hate using this word because I don't think it's an actual word, musicality of it.
Oh, it is a word. Yeah.
Is it?
Musicality. Yes.
Is it really? It
Yes.
feels like I'm making it up for some reason.
No, that's a
Um,
word. It's like talking about musicianship and expression. Yeah.
because it's right after that A. So
Mm-hmm.
so and it's got the staccato, but and this is where I can't tell if I did that or if it's the actual note. I think it's the actual note. Problem with it is I drew my dashed lines directly under it, so I'm pretty sure um it's G, and I know that those the low G lines up with, so it's G B. Like I know that that's where they land together. It's just when I actually like put in the staccato, it feels like there's like the left hand.
Ah,
That's how I can tell the left hand's dragging
yeah. Got it.
because
Before you
it.
can add the staccato, you have to get it really accurate and clean and clear without it. So you have to be able to play it in those patterns, in that timing without the staccato first, and then we're going to focus on adding in the staccato later.
So and it's right there. It's right
Mm,
there. It's that like I feel like between that G and that second D, it's almost like I've got like a count and a half going.
yeah.
And that's where it's like it's kind of messing with my head.
Yeah.
It's like even some of the other parts, because there's only like this part, which is repeated about what, one, two, three, four different times.
Right. It's got like a
Um,
theme that comes
well,
back again and again.
and then, well, I mean, even when I'm in the right hand, I'm at it's it's not terrible putting hands together there because it's,
Mm-hmm.
like things at least kind of match up,
Mm-hmm.
like timing wise. It's a quarter note above a quarter note above a quarter note. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not terrible. It's when I have these, doesn't matter on the hand, It's when I have repetitive eight notes in one hand, and then I've got like quarter notes and half notes in the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting it to line up and not and sound clean, I guess is what I'm trying
Right.
to say. Because right now I can I do it? Sure. Does it sound clean? I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. But you're like, this is not what I would like it to be.
Yeah, I'm like this. It doesn't sound it doesn't sound like the flow's right. And that's how I
Right.
know like something's either leading or lagging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just one of those like I don't know, did you like what was that movie with J.K. Simmons and the young kid who's really popular? God dang it, it's gonna bug me now. I don't know, where he plays the drum instructor and he's like literally slapping the crap out of the kid. And he's like leading or lagging. Every time the kid hits a beat, he's slapping the shit out of him. I'm not like tapping him. I'm talking full on
Yeah.
open palm, like going to town. He's like leading or lagging, and then the kid's like leading. And he's like, "Oh, so you can tell the difference." And I'm like, I, I'm not saying I want that as a music instructor, but sometimes I feel like I need it.
A little more like tough love. Yeah. Like
Just one
cracking
of
the
those.
whip. Well,
Just
I had a teacher for piano who actually, to prove that I was actually doing my practice, she had me actually like, and at the time it was tapes, like actual tapes and a tape recorder. She had me actually practice and record it. And she was like, I want you to record this piece this many times this week. And
oh
she would
damn,
be like, all right, you're doing it at least 25 times and you're going to record it so that I know you're doing it.
oh damn,
So I had to like actually prove it. Um,
oof.
he also sometimes would have me like, she'd make little check marks and she'd be like, you're gonna play this a minimum of 10 times this week. Every time you do it, you're gonna put a little check mark. And that made me like be accountable for actually doing it. So she was like, you're gonna prove to me that you're doing it. Cause I'd be like, sure, I practiced. Yeah. And she'd be like, uh-huh.
Sure you did.
Great. Sure you did. Yeah, exactly. Um, so, you might for yourself, I know. So I like lists because I am ADHD and I will forget things or I'll like think of it and then I'll get distracted and then
Samesies.
I'll think I did it. And, so like my husband literally can be like, hey, can you grab this while you're in the kitchen? And I'm so focused on what I went to do. Then I'm like, sure. And then I forget. And then I come back and he's like, where are my chips? And I'm
I,
like, oh, I forgot.
I will neither
So,
confirm nor deny that that is an issue that I suffer with.
so he's like, you were just there, you
Well,
know?
let's put
So
it this
I
way.
literally will do things like put a pile of things at the bottom of the stairs that need to go up, or like give myself a checklist and actually like physically check it off. But it's very satisfying at the end of the day to look and be like, look, I had 60 things to do. Obviously, I wasn't going to do them all, but I did 10 of those. Good job,
Yeah,
self. And like seeing the check marks. So what might
yeah.
be
I've
helpful for
got
you
a few
is maybe
methods
each
like that.
week take just like a notebook. Have a notebook, just like a regular, like spiral bound notebook. And you're going to take it and then write like the name of that piece or that scale or whatever. And then next to it, maybe put like 5 boxes. And then that week, see if you can practice it 5 times and be like, all right, I'm going to challenge myself to this week, get 5 check marks on that particular piece, that Hanon exercise, that scale,
Okay.
that arpeggio, and write out every single thing. So not just like generally this Hanon exercise, right in there, like right hand with metronome at 80 beats per minute, right? And then like Bach piece, measure this to this drilling it 5 times each time I practice. And then you have like, did I practice just those measures? Right. And check that
Hmm.
off. And then at the end of the week, you look at it and you go, I didn't get every check mark, but I did do this and I did do that and I did do this. And you can be like, good job, self. So you can put on there like your Chordify pieces. You can put on there your technique book piece. You can put in there very specific things you want to do with each piece. Like, hey, I'm
Okay.
going to drill just my left hand for the B section. And every time I practice it, I'm going to do it 3 times, left hand B section only, right? So you give yourself those smaller things that you want to do and actually write it out for yourself and have a visual picture of it. And then each time you do one of the tasks, put a check mark. Whenever
Okay.
you have like 10 or 15 minutes, be like, I could do one of my piano tasks for the week and go look at your list and be like, okay, I'm going to do this one right now. And you just do one of them. Be like, I'm just going to play through this one task and see if I can, get that one thing done and put your check mark and be like, all right, I did 10 minutes of really good work. And then you move on to your next thing that you need to get done. And for me, that worked really, really well when I was in school because it would be like, all these classes during the day and rehearsals and different things. And I'd have to study and write papers and all these other things going on. So I would challenge myself and I would actually, like the night before, write out my calendar and I'd be like, oh, I have 15 minutes between these two classes. I'm going to pop in a practice room and I'm going to practice this particular thing. And so I would like actually plan that ahead. And then I would utilize those little windows and I'd be like, all right, well, I have, a 20-minute break there. I bet I could go to a practice room and really work on drilling that trill in that, the adagio section of the sonata or whatever. And I would go, specifically focus on that. And I saw so much more like positive growth when I would do those smaller, really focused sessions then when I'd be like, all right, I'm going to block 3 hours to just really work on piano. And I would get brain fog and I would get fingers tired and I'd be like, all right, I need to go get a snack. Like,
Yeah.
so I found that I would have a lot more progress with those tiny practice sessions. So I want you to try challenging yourself, like give yourself a list of specific small things you want to do during the week. And if you just do each of them one time, that still would be great. So put like, I'm going to drill the ornamentation in this piece. Put like, I'm going to drill the left hand for the second line of this piece, or I'm going to work on just the descending right hand of the Hanon number 6. And like make a list of all of those little things you want to do during the week. And then as you do them, just every time you do, put a check mark next to it. And I
Okay.
would, maybe try to be like, I'm going to try to do each of these small things at least once this week and try to find little windows of time where it's like, okay, well, I have, a phone call scheduled in 20 minutes, but I have a little bit of time. I could do dishes or I could do my piano and then pick one of those tasks and be like, all right, I'm going to spend 10 minutes working on my piano before that phone call. And that just kind of gives you a more clearly defined, you know, rather than sitting down and be like, what do I do? It's very specific and it's almost like a vision board because you have it all
Yeah.
listed out and you're
Okay.
like, I can focus on what to do. And then on different days, I might be like, I cannot be expressive at this moment. My emotions are wrung out. Like I don't have the emotional energy. So then I say, okay, what can I do? I'm going to work on that Hanon number 5, hands together at 80 beats per minute. Cool. Let's pull out the metronome. And then I work on that because it doesn't really take any emotional involvement. Other times I might be like, ooh, I would love to work on that nocturne today. It's so moody and those harmonic textures. Let's work on the rubato, that push and pull and
Okay.
that kind of feeling of elasticity. And then I do that on another day. So you can kind of reflect with yourself on like where am I at? What's my capacity right now? If you're feeling kind of like burnt out after a whole day of work, you might be like, I don't really have the like emotional energy or brain power to be very like musical and like have my musicianship showing up right now. So I'm just going to be really technically accurate. Oh, what was that spot in my Bach piece where my left hand needed drilling? Let's work on that. And then you just
Okay.
drill it and drill it and drill it and drill it and you work on accuracy rather than that emotional connection and expressiveness, right? But then like on a Saturday when you're like, you slept in, it's more chill, you're like, I feel like I could be more expressive today. Let's go work on those staccatos and, the
Okay.
musicianship there, right? Musicality. So, yeah. So that's what I would
Still
recommend
say
for
that
this
sounds
week.
made up. It just still say that sounds made up. But
It's a word. It's a
yeah,
real
I
word.
it's definitely a need to kind of be a little bit more focused on certain things.
Yeah.
Because usually I just try to like my practices throughout the week are I wouldn't say super consistent. Like some days I'm like 10 minutes, some days I'm like 30, some days not at all.
Yeah.
Um, but I literally just it's what's the scale we're working on? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Then it's the Hannon exercise, and then it's like then the other exercise, and then a little bit of like, and again, like it just sometimes I get to it all, sometimes I don't.
hmm Yeah, and
And
that's
I think
okay. That's perfectly fine. And I don't want you to beat yourself up for not getting everything done because I always give myself impossible expectations for all the things that I would like to get done.
same,
So then I find it really helpful to be like, you know what? I got up and showered today. Check. I walked the dogs. Check. You know,
I
I made the
literally have a
bed.
daily
Check.
checklist with three major items.
Love it. Yeah. And then you
Make
can be like, did I go to work? Yes. Check. That's a big check, like a big check mark. That was a big one.
like
So giving yourself little things too, and being like, instead of like, I didn't do that, be like, but I did do this. Good job, self.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
All right.
What do you think for this week? What's going to
Ah,
be, what's going to be maybe, let's pick one thing you for sure want to work on this week with your piano
um,
practice.
definitely these stumble points within the Bach piece. And then probably a little bit of focus with the metronome on the Hanon number five.
Nice. Love it. All right. So, two goals then, two things that you want to be sure that you do.
Yeah.
So, write those two things down and challenge yourself to do those two things and be like, hey, if I even do one of them, good job, you know? And see like how many days this week you can challenge yourself to do those two things. And the thing is, even if all you do in a week is you show up for your lesson and you have a really good focused practice session, then you are still making progress every week, which is awesome. And if we can during the week have that really focused, specific kind of practice, and you do those smaller chunks of time reinforcing it, you're going to see a lot more growth and faster progress. So let's make sure those two things that you gave yourself, add them to your list of things that you want to do this week and
Okay.
see if you can work on those two things, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Every week you are making progress and it's really exciting to see. I mean, we know that like that six sharps minor was really challenging, you
Yeah.
know? So things like that being like that was really tough and I conquered that like inside and out. So, that's amazing. That's great. So, those kind of things, thinking about chord regressions and your chordify pieces that you've been working on and mastering and giving yourself new pieces to work on. I think that's awesome. So you are growing all the time and we can't even do these really specific focused practice and like those little measures if you haven't conquered other things. So like we don't even notice things like, oh, I'm not doing the staccatos there until we've conquered something else you
Yeah.
know? So you're definitely making that progress. So own that, be proud of yourself, and, just it's baby steps, little steps forward all the time, and you're doing it.
Okay.
And I would say big steps. You're getting big steps all the time. So, but
Fair.
I would say you tend to be really hard on yourself and you tend to get kind of stuck in your head on things. And you
Yeah.
sometimes fail to give yourself that pat on the back for the things you did well. So that's something I want you to try to do this week. Okay?
It's a pat on the back. It's just, with a lot of force and usually something attached to a belt.
To like whack you. Yeah. So, yeah, you're You're doing the damn thing. So keep doing the damn thing. Keep yourself accountable. Give yourself scheduled time to work on it if you can, and really focus on those two goals for this week. Yeah.
Okay, sounds
Alrighty.
good.
Awesome work today, Sean.
Thank y'all.
I'll see you next week.
All right,
Have a
see you
good
next
one.
week. Bye.